Okay, hello everybody. It's February 3rd, 2019. We are embarking upon our 7th communication with the Andromedan High Council via their AI interface.
As we get started, I'm out in space over the Atlantic. I'm looking at one of their star cruisers, battle cruisers, whatever they refer to them as. From the top, I'm seeing it from above it. So there's this triangular wedge of multicolored light in front of me, or actually below me. And I see they've just dispensed one of their rounded spherical multi-colored
Okay. Looks like they make contact and they are coming around.
hello.
Hello. Greetings. I trust you got the message from Bob the other day that he wasn't feeling well. That's why we didn't contact you then.
Yes, we got the message.
And he didn't want to do the contact on Friday because I was on a trip, and he knew I was coming back sometime Friday evening, and didn't want to have me have to worry about too much to do. I got that.
Such is understood.
He did want me to express to you all, not only was he upset that a couple days ago he got picked up by the Greys, but that you guys failed in protecting him from that pickup.
Protection from the diminutives is something we offer as a friendly free service. We do not take it as an assignment. We attempted to notify him of a possible abduction. Evidently, he was not receptive to our message. By the time the abduction happened, when we attempted to intervene, we were warned by the diminutives that if we did intervene, they would destroy their ship with Bob on it. It would have imploded with Bob.
And you could not interrupt the signal from happening or anything like that, apparently. So, you see, you lulled this into a false sense of security. That is what I think he's most upset about, you understand? Or you need to understand. All right?
We did not do the lulling.
Well, you told us that you would, in fact, protect us from getting picked up, and that wouldn't be happening again. In fact, I remember I even commented on it. You know, So I remember it. I don't remember the exact words that were used, but I remember the conceptual idea that unlike being protected by the reptilians, who oftentimes couldn't protect us either, that you guys, with your higher technology, would have our backs. So, come to find out, we're in not much better shape of protection than we were before.
We are sorry for the lapse. It was not our intent. The technology used by the diminutives, you call the Greys, was unexpected by us. We knew that there was a possibility that something would happen. Trying to look for a term you use. They popped out of another dimensional space into this one.
Yeah.
And hit the signal immediately.
Instantaneously.
And by the time we were aware of it, it was apparently too late. We could have interfered, but it would have cost the life of our favorite son.
I understand. Again, you know, I didn't ask exactly what you were going to be doing differently than reptilians did before to protect us, but I just thought that you must have some type of shielding protection over our house. Okay.
No.
And apparently it's not that way.
No. We use an awareness that pre-informs us when something is about to happen so that we can use our technology to prevent it. This time they got around us.
Well, in the future, if you would, and you find yourself unable to act or afraid to act, please contact Archangel Michael. Because sometimes if Bob is asleep or unconscious or drugged by them, he's not quick enough or able to do so himself. Otherwise he would as well. Or even better, if he's conscious enough, he can control the minds of the Greys and get them to make them send him back. So in lieu of that, him being able to do that, I'd be much appreciated if you would contact Archangel Michael and put him on the case, because he could more than likely do something similar. And then once he's disabled their wills, then you could pick Bob up and get him sent back to the house. Sound like a plan?
Such would be the case.
Okay. All right. Well, we've spent enough time on that, I guess.
We wish to inform you that the warnings we gave concerning peoples of the Southeastern Asian area needing possible help from the Chinese government,
Yes.
as now that should have been seen as the case. For there have been earthquakes in the areas of the Southeastern Asian area. Some as high as 5 or even 6 on your prediction scale.
Uh-huh. We call it the Richter scale.
What we sent beforehand was a warning that there could be tremors within some locations, very focused.
Are these naturally caused or caused by something else?
This is part of nature.
Okay.
It's the effects of
Tectonic shifts?
culmination of things. Tectonic shift is one, pole shift is another, and the effects of other bodies moving through your solar system that normally are not there.
Oh, okay.
We simply wanted to state that the reason for our causing minor tremors within areas around various parts of China was to act as a warning, because they had made agreements with us they were about to renege.
Uh-huh. Are they helping the people that were involved with these tremors now? Or these earthquakes now?
They are attempting to send aid, but they could do more.
Uh-huh.
They seem not to wish for the world to understand that they are doing what they are.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything reported on our news about it whatsoever.
Well, there is another reason for that. Your news will not report on things of this nature, even if they are happening in your own country. They do not want panic.
Well, from time to time, they do report about earthquakes. It seems in my mind's eye, looking back, that usually when they do, it's in reference to South America. If it's in other parts of the world, chances are we don't hear about it.
In some cases, not even in your country.
Mm.
We wished to address an issue with
You okay?
we have been told to hold off on the one topic we were about to raise.
Huh. By your homeworld?
Yes.
Huh.
From homeworld to our craft and then to us.
Okay.
It's pretty much instantaneous. In the attacks on California,
The energy weapons that caused the fires?
yes,
Okay.
this dealing with more than one rationale.
Rationale?
More than one rationale.
Okay.
More than one reason.
Right, right.
One was a plan to attack the tall whites and some Atlantean friends of theirs living in California.
Uh-huh.
Mostly the tall whites. It was second.
That one, just to say real quick, the one town, I had heard something about that through one or more than one video, that one town that got hit really bad, Paradise, California. Some people were saying that a lot of aliens actually lived there. So that's the tall whites?
Yes.
Interesting.
Others as well.
I thought they mainly lived on military bases.
They do. They also live in communities.
Uh-huh.
There was human communities as well. The other part of the plan was to make it look as though it might be the beginning of a false invasion from extraterrestrials,
Uh-huh.
to cause concern and fear enough to bring your worlds together under one world government.
Uh-huh.
This effort has been
Squashed for now?
halted for the most part, but there is still effort behind it to try to bring it about. For the most part, it has been stopped.
Okay.
The dark government, dark in the sense of unknown to standard populace, and dark in the sense of in league with dark forces.
Mm-hmm.
Has not been able to fully realize that, in other words, not able to bring to reality
Mm-hmm.
that which they had intended. Your people your paramilitaries,
Mm-hmm.
some of them are actually dying in the effort to help protect and restore a sense of proper order in your world.
Wow.
They have gone against the dark forces, the dark government included, including the fact that there are this is not entirely accurate, but you have a word, spells,
Mm-hmm.
that some dark forces are using to attempt to force their way through this situation.
Is this what's causing some of our good paramilitary forces to be killed?
Yes,
So they're using black magic.
something of that nature.
Wow.
But we are finding areas where we have been able to interfere and intervene. We cannot do it to 100%, as
Yeah.
you would think, but what we can do, we are. Your race has signaled that it is willing to make a difference. Even coming from what you call your White House. Your present president has a convenient concept of morality when it suits him.
Right. It's a good way of putting it.
But he also has the courage to stand in the face of a large evil. And especially if it means that he can do business without the constraints on business that now exist
Mm-hmm.
because of dark forces causing legislations within your government
Mm-hmm.
controlling business. So it suits him.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, he is helping to spearhead a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Your present president was not elected by your people.
Right. A lot of people explain how he was put in position to become president by the good secret government.
Backed with your military.
Uh-huh.
There were different choices, options that were investigated. We know this now.
Uh-huh.
One would have been to have taken control through a military coup
Mm-hmm.
had Mrs. Clinton been elected,
Mm-hmm.
which she actually was.
Oh, wow.
But rather than stage something of that nature, which have resulted in riots,
Mm-hmm.
it was seen as a better option to
Sure.
advise Mr. Trump first
Mm-hmm.
and then let him know what he would have to deal with as he would be becoming president.
Was he throwing a little tantrum in the beginning? Because in the beginning, he was very publicly not, taking advice from the military intelligences. He was kicking them out. For many months he was refusing to get briefings, and to this day I believe they have a very hard time giving him intelligence briefings. They have to break it down to very small bits, and he doesn't seem, he's not very receptive to using, he keeps, and it's very
humans have a term they call tunnel vision.
Yeah.
He also does not trust much of the military that was previously involved with him. He viewed them as part of the problem.
Yeah, but that's what I don't understand. I mean, if the military, if aspects of the military helped get him into power so he could make some real, positive changes, why isn't he, listening to them?
Because the aspects who were part of his cabinet, so to speak. We think that's what you call it, a cabinet or a closet.
Yes, your cabinet, yes.
They were not to him trustworthy.
Well,
because
initially,
they represented the old way of doing things.
Right, yeah. Well, he has hired and fired a whole lot of them. And each time, he hires somebody new, he says, "Oh, I've known this person for a long time, and I thoroughly trust them." And the next thing you know, 2 or 3 weeks later, he's saying the opposite. So he doesn't instill confidence at the very least.
The ones in control of your country most at this time are neither your Congress nor your president.
Okay, yeah.
They are a hidden military that is trying to restore your country to your country.
Okay.
This is not only just happening in America, this is happening in other nations across the world as well. There are a number of countries now who are ready to suspend business with the international banking system.
Yes. And I've heard a lot about the what do you call it? The international military. I can't think of the word right now. But that they're being broken down because they're so crooked. United Nations, has a military that apparently, they're famous for showing up places where human rights are being trampled on and people are being killed and just not doing anything.
And at times having been part of it.
I'm sorry? Yes, yeah.
This term, tantrum, we understand now. It is difficult for us to find a time when he has not been engaged in tantrums.
You're talking about Trump?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He is not the ideal for your presidency, but
yeah,
he is willing to let your military bring the country to rights because he believes it will help not only him but business in general, but his business as well. And there is another reason. While he is in office, it is not so easy for him to be successfully taken to litigations.
Right, yes, so he's protected by that. Isn't that special? What do you make of this situation with the wall? Him shutting down the government. I don't see any, really great, thing coming out of that.
There was more that we're not able to say at this time about that. And it really had little to do with the wall.
Yeah, I believe that. That's why I wanted to know if you could,
Even members of your Congress know what is actually happening, but are basically sworn to secrecy at this time.
Is it about the government reset? The money reset? Or does it have to do with the indictments? A lot of people are saying that with the government shut down, that Congress people couldn't go anywhere, and then that made it easier for them to go around and round up and arrest these people? Is that part of it?
So far you are
100%?
no.
Half right?
We'll say 80%.
Okay.
So you are
On the right track.
okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Oh, there's something else I wanted to run past you, and I forget what it is right now. But anyway, I would have loved to have heard what your home world didn't want you to talk about.
Perhaps later.
Okay.
The skies over your area may be producing far more sightings of what you call UFOs,
UFOs.
and this would be natural. Don't be afraid.
Okay. Good.
Your world is about to take its place among a league or federation of worlds. It actually has in many respects, but this has been kept from you.
Mm-hmm.
This year and next year,
Mm-hmm.
are periods of education for
Mhm.
humanity. Some issues will even involve your religions. Perhaps in another setting we may make further comments on this,
Delve into that.
but this will leave many people with uneasiness, for they will not quite know what to do. Then there will be those who will believe what they believe no matter what they are told.
Mm-hmm.
This we understand, we expect this.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let me just say this to you. Before I know we're gonna wrap it up really soon.
Yes.
Please, if you haven't already, keep it in mind that in this whole underground patriot movement that's going on, as good as it is, a lot of these people are right-wing Christians in a bad way. Meaning, if they had their way, everything would be by the letter biblical. And that includes, taking rights away from women and anyone that's not, 100% straight, and so on and so on. I'm talking about, torturing and, allowing torturing and killing of homosexuals, all kinds of, really, terrible things, could get wrapped into this movement, you see. So, keep that in mind in your dealings with these people, and make sure, do what you can do to keep it from going in that direction.
We can make some people disappear.
There is a movie. It's not a movie. It's a show. It's a serious show, and it's like a cautionary tale. If some of you would watch this and pass along the idea, the information about it, they've made it. I forget if it's 1 season or 2 seasons. I've seen the whole thing. What's available right now? I think 2 seasons. About maybe 12 shows. I want to say. I think maybe 6 shows a season, something like that. But what it is about, it's about what this country could be like if we had a civil war, and the government, everything got turned around, and how it could be, these various different groups, in power in the country, and how it could be very martial law, and how they could go back to it could be like full control. It's a very insightful show. It's like a cautionary tale, and I think they're right on the money. I think it's very well told of the way it's written, of how things could go if we're not careful with this turnaround. So I wish you guys would check out that show. It has a lot of very important messages and aspects.
Does it have a name?